This is Mort Krim reporting from Fairchild Air Force Base, Spokane, Washington. The 1961 Strategic Air Command combat competition is taking place here. Today I'm standing on the flight line of this B-52 bomber base in the Great Northwest, often referred to as the Inland Empire. With me is Colonel L.F. Miller, commander of the 92nd Bomb Wing, host unit for this year's competition. Colonel Miller, would you tell us just exactly what is the SAC Combat Competition and what is its main purpose?
Yes, the SAC Combat Competition is an annual event to foster a competitive spirit among units and air crews of the Strategic Air Command. It recognizes outstanding individual crew performance. The result is to emphasize the high standards of SAC's excellence in bombing, navigation, air refueling, and electronic countermeasures. It has often been called the World Series of Bombing.
Do all of SAC's crews participate in this competition?
No, only the elite bomber and tanker crews, supported by top maintenance personnel, are on hand for the finals here at Fairchild. However, prior to this competition, eliminations have been held throughout SAC to pick the best to compete against each other.
How long has the Strategic Air Command been conducting these annual competitions?
This is the 13th annual competition. Each year since 1948, the competition has been tailored to present a realistic test of combat crew proficiency. Under present rules, bomber, tanker crews start their daily missions at the signal of alert klaxons, just as crews on combat alert would take off in time of war. After takeoff, they must execute maneuvers and strike simulated targets from altitudes below 5,000 feet to 40,000 feet. Umpires riding aboard the aircraft keep track of crew performance.
Colonel Miller, we want to thank you for sharing with us this information about the 1961 combat competition. And now let's take a look in detail at some of the events that will highlight this year's combat competition here at Fairchild Air Force Base, Spokane, Washington. Before going on simulated alert, the crews study target materials, routes, and other data relevant to the mission. A blaring klaxon signals bomber and tanker crews into action. They race toward their aircraft just as they would if this were a real alert. Many grueling hours of flying over selected routes leave these husky bombers with a big thirst. At a predetermined rendezvous point, SAC tankers prepare to offload needed fuel. Over 5,000 aerial hookups like this during the past year have been performed by SAC crews. More than 2.5 million gallons of fuel have been transferred. Radio and radar contact between aircraft and bomb scoring sites record the accuracy of the bomb drops. This year, radar scoring units are mounted on railroad cars, similar to mobile units in use by SAC every day. Observers aboard the aircraft practice radar recognition of factories, rail centers, and military targets as they appear on radar scopes. SAC's Commander-in-Chief, General Thomas Power, arrives for the concluding ceremonies. Here, he reviews the famed SAC Headquarters Security Guard. Then, in a spectacular climax, the awards are made. Trophies are presented to SAC's top crews. Royal Air Force officers are on hand. They take back to Britain valuable lessons in U.S. strategic bombing techniques. The Fairchild Trophy, highest of all the honors, goes to the winner in combined bombing and navigation. And that briefly is the story of this year's SAC Combat Competition being held at Fairchild Air Force Base, Spokane, Washington. Our thanks to you, Colonel Miller, for being our host.
It is my pleasure.
This is Mort Krim reporting.